my hope, I hope that wherever you are, when you receive this transmission, when this frequency beam reaches your eyes, ears, la boca, cállate la boca, whenever this reaches you, that it's followed by some good news. That's what I hope. One of the raddest things in life, if you haven't got to experience this, you should try it. One of the raddest things is hearing great news from someone. Hearing from someone, hey, guess what? Yada, 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 yada. And your heart fills up and you go, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. And I don't know why so many people in America love to indulge in other people's suffering. It's like back in the 80s, we used to have this ice cream treat called bonbons. They were little chocolate-covered vanilla ice cream things. Came in a box. You could sit on the couch and eat them. And the joke was the stay-at-home wife would eat bonbons on the couch and do nothing. Ha 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 ha. Welcome to the plot line of Married with Children. Al Bundy. Oh, just to even consider that, like, the whole premise of Married with Children with Al Bundy was a guy who worked as a shoe salesman, owned his house, raising 2 kids, and his wife stayed home and was a bad housewife. Like, that was a real show with the real premise. All right? And now, to be Al Bundy, you'd have to not only be a shoe salesman, but you'd have to, have a part-time hustle. You'd have to have your real estate license, and you have to be a multi-level marketing scam artist like Patty Bet David. And then Al Bundy came home to do a live stream about shoes that he wanted to sell to you. Oh, Christ. What's up, Jacob? But I hope that when this transmission finds you, a good news follows. Because I'm waiting for mine, They've been trying to squeeze blood out of a rock for so long. And this country, American capitalism, has failed. Jacob, I'm going to be getting a place here for $500 a month. This guy's really nice, and the place is a 1-bedroom house. Honestly, the guy has been a huge blessing. I told you, Jacob. That is awesome. 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 I'm so excited for you. That's phenomenal. I knew it. I told you, Jacob, the other day when you said, I'm freaked out. I lost my housing. I know it's scary, but you just built that character. What happened to you was you had to experience all that. You had to dig a little deeper, and boom, blessing. Now, it doesn't always happen like that. It doesn't. So that's why it's a blessing. But I knew. I was using all of my psychic, psilocybin, magical powers. I was sending my spirit guardians to protect you. And it worked. And I'm happy. I'm happy, man. I'm happy to hear that. That's good news. Elizabeth Feeder. Hello. How are you? Let me introduce myself. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Umpty. No, it's not. That was Shock G. My apologies. I always confuse myself when I introduce myself. I always think I'm Humpty Dance. Do the dance, do the hump. Oh. I'm just kidding. Rest in peace, Shock G. My God, I love Shock G. Such an amazing, talented artist. Michael, good to see you. Michael, good for you, Jacob. I just upgraded to a better travel trailer, even though my wife and I both have good jobs. Nope, fighter. Okay. My apologies, Elizabeth. Can I call you Liz, or should I call you Beth? Or should I not call you at all? But, we joke here, Elizabeth. If you're new, hit subscribe, hit the notification. Beth, there we go. I got you, Beth. I got you. But allow me to introduce myself. My name is Rob, pronounced with a I usually joke about the news. This is usually a sarcastic channel. That's the only thing I was good at my whole life. My mom would always say, God damn, that boy is sarcastic. and most people don't get it. So you're gonna have an amazing time, because the joke's on everybody else. Oh my God. I'm just kidding. My mom's been dead for 20 years. But we usually talk about the news, comment about the news. I did link a story down below about we like fun. Awesome, Beth. I like fun too, because this old philosopher from the 90s, his name was Van Wilder. He would say, don't take life too seriously. You'll never make it out alive. But sometimes, I got to reflect. I literally just got out of another job interview. Rob Densmore. The Pauly Shore thing was funny yesterday. Rob, listen, Rob, everybody else, you can go take a break. But Michael and Rob were here yesterday. Rob, does Stephen Miller not fucking sound like Pauly Shore? I'm sorry. Rob, go watch more of his clips. Stephen Miller, the fascist neo-Nazi who was not elected, and he's running things in the White House and sending, American troops to all these American cities. If you listen to him speak, he talks because he's a rich brat from Southern California, and he sent it to the Ninth Circuit, bro. And I'm like, that's Pauly Shore. This is fucking Pauly Shore. How is Pauly Shore not writing a movie about the rise of fascism? Could you stop that, please? Thank you. I'm trying to do a show over here. My Christ. Parking lots, you know what I mean? Parking lots, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But, Rob, I'm so glad you said that, because Pauly Shore should be... I don't like Pauly Shore. He's kind of a dick. Unless you're a girl who he thinks he has a chance with. If I was Pauly Shore, I'd be writing a movie called The Rise of Fascism, where it's like a satirical comedy, and I would play Stephen Miller, because Pauly Shore sounds like Stephen Miller sounds like Pauly Shore, and I'm sure he hates that. He's like, I'm a serious boy. I want to be taken serious. I want to be taken serious. You guys stop making fun of me. Rob, you did listen to more Stephen Miller. I can't get that voice out of my head. Rob, I can't either, bro. That's the whole problem. It's like, I see the clips of Stephen Miller, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, not this up-talking bimbo again. Please stop making the Nazi bimbo on my TV. Please stop it. Actually, I don't watch anything on TV. I'm a serious bald boy. MJG, just get the fuck out of here, man. I ain't got time for people like you. Anti-capitalist. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Just leave. See yourself out. Tired of you capitalists, man. America has failed, okay? It's not failing. It's failed. Here's one way. You see this? I was talking about this yesterday, man. Colombian President Gustavo Petro says the latest ship off the Venezuelan coast was a Colombian vessel carrying Colombian citizens. Petro warns Trump has now triggered a war scenario in the Caribbean. There's no war against smuggling, Petro said. It's a war for oil. It must be stopped. Meanwhile, on Fox News, you got these bimbos. This dude playing all these roles to fear tactic, the boomers, right? Capitalism, absolute failure. If we're taking in trillions of dollars, why don't we pay down a cent of the debt? Fuck the debt. Why can't we afford not to F over millions of people with their expiring insurance subsidies? Why haven't none of it being used on the abysmal job market? Okay? And then, look at these cuties. Look at these cuties. Also, I seen this earlier this week. Was it yesterday? I forget. I forget when the 8th was. I seen this, and man, if you're an American who's supporting this, I only pray that these ICE officials don't come to your middle school if you're a parent and rip you out of the car in front of your kids. That's what I pray for. Just like I pray that it doesn't happen to these parents, I pray that it doesn't happen to you. But if it does, you'll be praying that people call attention to this. Outside of an elementary school during dismissal. Horrifying. Horrifying. The other thing I saw was these... Again, you can't determine if these are ICE agents or not. They're not wearing any uniforms. They're wearing like khakis and fucking like, they're basically like dressing like Proud Boys. And they're just masking their face, these cowards. And I seen them, this lady filmed them confiscating a kid off the street and throwing her in a car. A kid. She looked like a middle school kid. And my heart was breaking watching it. And I thought, man, if I see these dudes out in real time, I'm going to start yelling that it's an abduction. I'm going to call the police, say it's an abduction happening, and saying, I believe these guys work for Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. These are Epstein's best friend, and they're abducting children. I haven't seen any form of identification, because we got to stop these cowards. And also, hey, Michael, you were here yesterday. Rob, you were here yesterday. I promised you guys I would show you this. This California governor tweeted this. Portland is war ravaged. Send in the California National Guard. And this is actually a video. You have to watch this video. These are the Portland protesters I was telling you about. There's the Reptar Rex from Rugrats. There's a unicorn, and there's, it looks like a raccoon. But the video, they're playing like house music, and they're all the like little inflatable guys are all dancing. So they're all just like bouncing around dancing. This is the funniest. Again, it's why here on the live stream, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's why I had to invent the word sad-larious, because it's so sad that that lady wears a cross and lies to the American public every day for their own harm. But it's hilarious that we got heroes. These people are heroes. These are heroic people. They are doing things in the spirit of Abbie Hoffman. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He gathered all the yippies together, and they tried to levitate the Pentagon. That was one of their protests back in 68 or 69. And he was going to levitate the Pentagon. That was his huge protest. And these people that are out dancing in their inflatable costumes are carrying on the Abbie Hoffman spirit. And my heart, it breaks every day reading about what ICE is doing, but it heals when I see these heroes out here working to stop them. Heroes. American heroes. Put them in a history book. Let's go through some more stuff. I highly encourage you, if you're still on Twitter, which, you know, I'm not really, but I do follow them. Healthcare premiums about to double across America. I don't know if you see your state in there. But the worst news is that in these same states, billionaires are set to get six-figure tax breaks. I wouldn't say this is what the shutdown's about. I would say the Epstein files is what the shutdown's about. But, you know, I do disagree with billionaires getting tax breaks while your healthcare premium shoots up. Since the government's paying these foreign prisons, aren't they functionally engaging in human trafficking? Michael, that's what I was trying to figure out. See, I'm glad we have this community here. Hit subscribe and notification bell. Because, Michael, I was thinking, you know, what these people should be yelling is these are kidnappers that are engaging in human trafficking, and they're working for Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Jeffrey Epstein's best friend has sent these masked kidnappers to confiscate these people, and we don't know what they're doing with them, but it looks like human trafficking. So, you know, and I think you start screaming that, and hopefully they disappear. Jacob, gonna use big magnets or something? How do you levitate a whole ass building? Oh, Jacob, if you don't know about Abbie Hoffman, I just blessed you with one of the great historical people of history. Abbie was going to do it psychically. He said we're going to psychically levitate the Pentagon. Please look into him. Watch his interviews. Watch his interviews, the black and white interviews from the 60s where he talks about the gathering of the yippies. He started the yippie movement, the Youth International protesters. What is it? He was the founder of the yippies. And they nominated, against Tricky Dick Nixon, they nominated a pig for president. Abbie Hoffman was amazing, but what he was going to do was levitate it with their minds. Won't be able to show the next major protest on here. Portlanders are planning a baked No Kings protest, so ICE can't claim they saw a gun. Naked. Oh, naked No Kings protest. Yeah, the No Kings on October 18th. They're going to be naked. Baked and naked. Thank you, Michael. That is brilliant. Listen, you got to get creative, people. And Abby Hoffman was one of my inspirations. And I always say, and I've discussed this with other people, if you're going to go to a protest, wear them Kid Rock gear. Make an American flag, sew an American flag into an outfit, so you look like the American flag. So if they start shooting you, they go, why are you shooting the American flag? If they're pepper ball gunning you, they go, you should stop mistreating the flag. That's why you see Abby Hoffman always wearing his American flag shirt. So, just little tips that we've learned through the years. But Jacob, I encourage you to check out Abby Hoffman. William, we must all stand together. This is what our founding fathers fought against. The terror is so taxation without representation. Trump is putting federal troops on our streets. Alma. That goblin MTG finally broke with party lines and agreed premiums would affect her state. Alma, she said, we played the audio yesterday. She said, my 2 adult children aren't going to be able to afford their health care. And I said, hey, I'll take it. Most of America acts, you see these entitled people say, well, it's not going to happen to me. I don't care. You're just lazy. And all of a sudden, Marjorie Taylor Greene was the alliance we didn't know we needed. But she said, I'm not going to stand for this. They're going to raise premiums on my adult kids. It's going to affect my home. And I'm speaking out. And I said, I'll take it. Just like Bill Burr, if he'll say free Luigi and talk about the greed of billionaires, that's okay. Then we have to endure him cashing in Riyadh. We have to endure it because we need these alliances, folks. We need these alliances. Ooh, I like that little beep, 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 beep. Why did they name it the Affordable Care Act? I don't know. You should ask the Heritage Foundation. Hold on, I'll find it for you. We had to go over this yesterday. Just so you know, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, was actually called Romney Care. Well, it was in Massachusetts. And it is a conservative think tank creation, the Heritage Foundation, the same guys who brought you Project 2025. In the 90s, the Heritage Foundation pioneered this market-oriented alternative to universal health care. So this was a Republican think tank, the ACA. It's a horrible thing. It was just better than what we had before because people with pre-existing conditions couldn't be denied health care. America has failed its people so bad that if you were born with a pre-existing condition, the healthcare market, because it's not doctors have an obligation to treat you, but capitalism would say, oh, that's going to be too expensive. Just fucking don't let them have the health insurance. And that was a thing. And then, because we only have Republicans and diet Republicans in America, aka the Democrats, the D stands for diet Republican, the Republicans light. They allowed this to go through the ACA, but it's a Heritage Foundation. This is a plague on our country. These think tanks, the Heritage Foundation, all these right-wing, libertarian, free market. If you work for a living, you're not a libertarian, okay? You're just not. And they're the ones who control the government. So when you also are the person who goes, oh, you want big government? It's like, yeah, run by the right people, serving the people, for the people, using our taxes, having representation for our taxes to represent us and pay for our things. Yes. But capitalism has failed, folks. Hit like, hit subscribe, check out our Discord. Michael posted some cool mushrooms in the Discord. Some cool ass mushrooms. Me and Michael are having a good chat on there. I appreciate, Michael, you taking the time to chat with me on Discord. It's nice to connect. It's nice. Thank you. Plus, this has been a rough week, man. I'm very scared. I have surgery next week. I'm very, very scared. I'm just scared. I just have a fear in my bones. And then I just got out of a job interview. And the thing with America is every job interview I go on, they want to know your availability. but because, I'm already a college graduate, my career got canceled by private equity. So, my career industry doesn't really exist anymore. They want to know your availability. And if your availability isn't everything, if you're just like, I'm always free, then they're like, ooh, we'll find someone who just doesn't want a life. And I'm like, nah, I could work from, 4 in the morning until whatever time. And most places, they don't want that. They don't want to give you normal hours. They want, and I don't think it's the people that work there. I think it's the policy set by the people in control. Because those people want your life to be work. They don't want you to enjoy life. They don't want you to have a set schedule. They want you to work mornings, then nights, then mids, then this, then that. And it's like, what reality do you live in where we could do that? And I don't have that. So again, without them saying so much, I was like, I see the writing on the wall. You want someone who's just going to be like, I'll work day, night, middle of the day, midnight, all of it. And it's like, I can't do that, man. I literally can't. I don't have a car. That's why I was like, I could walk here, man. I'll walk here. I'll never be late. I'm very reliable, but I can't, my wife works 2 jobs and I can't give you night times. I can't do it. So I'm just, and I'm doing everything I can, man. I apply to so many jobs a day, but obviously our country is in the shitter when it comes to jobs. I didn't take a picture of the meme. I'm sorry, I didn't. There was a good showing of Republicans versus Democrats of how many jobs created, and Trump was the only one that went really far down. But I did want to bring this up. I forget if this was from yesterday or today. Revolutionary Che Guevara was executed on this day, 1967. Solidarity with Che Guevara. I have his biography that I'm trying to read. It's just a hefty one. And you should look into this man. He's a beautiful soul. Quote, if you tremble with indignation at every injustice, then you are a comrade of mine. Mr. Che Guevara. Jacob, you'll be a Rob. Good luck with surgery. Thank you. I'm terrified. I thought twice today about just calling and canceling it. I'm like, I don't know if I could do it, man. Jacob, you'll be all right. Jacob, I feel that, Rob. It's the same way with me. Me and my girlfriend share a car. I don't even have a license. Michael, lost my job because I needed time off to take care of my daughter after she was, That's what I mean. It's like, Brian says, boo-hoo. Like, Brian, I don't know if you think you're tough saying, like, boo-hoo, cry me a river. But, like, you're not a person anyone wants to be friends with. You understand that, right? I understand that a lot of these people that love their jobs and just give their life to their job and just their job. It's like you do that because you have that kind of personality where somebody's honest with you and you're like, boo-hoo, cry me a river. And it's like, what the fuck? So you think corporations should just own your life? God, you're the worst kind of person. You're the absolute worst kind of person. Hey, Sid's here. Good to see you, Sid. That's absolutely disgusting, Michael. I'm sorry about that, man. Companies don't care. Yeah, Michael, that's why I do this live stream. I know I love to joke about the news. I love to be satirical, and I love to make these MAGAs get confused, They're like, can't tell if this guy is serious or not. And, like, that's one of the joys of my life. I'm like, these people are so stupid. You understand, Donald Trump said, smart people don't like me. And his maggots were like, yeah, awesome. Not realizing Donald Trump saying you're an idiot. Like, Donald Trump, in that comment, because it was a little tricky for you, he said, smart people don't like me. But stupid people, just like when he said, I love the poorly educated and everybody cheered, what he's saying is, you dummies voted for me. He called you all stupid. Not me. I didn't say smart people don't like Donald Trump. He did. And when he said that, he said all the people that love me and defend me are stupid. It's funny, man. Yeah, good to see you, Sid. Good to see you. I'm glad you're back. But yeah, Michael, that's part of the reason why I do this, because you hear these stories, and thank you for sharing that. You know, you didn't have to. I appreciate when people get real and get honest, and that's why I'll take a break from being sarcastic and tricking these maggots or the trolls. You know, they just exist to try to trigger people, and it's like, must be a fun life. You know, must be a fun life. They clearly understood, like, well, nobody's gonna like their personality. They're probably like into something. That's my favorite thing. These people are like into something, but they think it makes them less manly. It's like when people make fun of me because I have a cat, and they're like, oh, of course he has a cat. I'm like, oh, this person is scared to own a cat because they think people would say that to them. Where it's like, I don't give a shit what you think. At the end of my life, I'm not going to be like, did I make everybody feel good? Did I make everybody think I was an alpha because of what I owned as a pet? Like, I don't give a fuck, man. You know, I'm here to encourage other people and try to make this world a better place. So the Utes, like Jacob, like my kids, so these young heads don't have to suffer like I have through my life. You know, if I can change a little bit of that, this life was worth it. And then I'll come back and I'll haunt you trolls. I'll glitch your internet. I will come back as a ghost who's a internet glitcher, and you'll have to sit there going, God damn, I got 3 bars and I can't even troll these people. That's what I'll do, just so you know. That's what I'm gonna do. I say, Jesus, I need to be on that other realm. I need to be on the ghostly plane. I don't fuck with some of these trolls. And I ain't even gonna do anything haunting. I'm just gonna fuck your internet up. But I love when Sid. I love cats. Mine is sleeping right now. You know what? Let's share that love, Sid. Look at these little pebbles. Look at these little hyenas. Hold on. Oh, it glitched out. Look at these little hyenas. These little hyenas. Hold on, that's not a good picture. Hold on. Oh, this is kind of a good picture. I love that little hyena. Hello. Let's see. But I appreciate what I was saying is I appreciate Steven. Gotta buy a candle to ward off Rob at that point. Where's that step? HN Hibbler? That's funny. Rob, your live started glitching as soon as you said that. See, you guys think I'm messing around. You don't understand. When I say I'm a child of God, I mean it. You think I'm kidding. That's the whole point of being sarcastic. They don't know when you're serious. So when you guys think when I say I'm a child of God and that, you know, you think, oh, this dude's just a crazy hippie. You think he's just a crazy hippie. But when I said I sent my spirit guardians to go help you, Jacob, you just thought I was talking crazy talk. But no. Why do you think that glitched when I said I'll become a ghost? Why do you think when I say, you know, when God is for us, who could be against us? You can't touch me. I'm a child of God. I have a mission to accomplish here. But again, just like Jesus' suffering, he wanted it to be for a purpose. I feel that. I don't believe in God, but I believe in energy, right? Yeah, of course. You believe what you need to believe. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. I'm just here that hopefully you go, you know what? I get that. Or I never heard it like that. Or that's a good point. Like when I say tax billionaires into extinction. No one should be a billionaire. Elon Musk should not have $500 billion. And if people go, oh, you want to steal from others? You can't tax billionaires. Then they'll da. You go, well, if they can't be taxed and they have $1 billion, maybe they're living outside of their means. You know, maybe they should stop eating so much avocado toast. Michael, silver lining gave me the impetus to get back into event security, personal protection. Awesome. Oh, that's great, Michael. When this channel gets big, hit subscribe and notification bell. I'm hiring you. You're gonna put together my team. Exactly. Why do they need that wealth and power? I love the jealousy. What do you hear that's jealous? I'm so curious. How dumb people hear things. You know, I don't hear these people talking about how billionaires didn't earn it. They exploited people. How they pay people poverty wages and then claim that they work hard when Elon Musk puts a video game system in the White House and brags about it, where he's tweeting all day. He's not working hard. These people don't work hard. Most of them were rich before they were born, when their mother should have swallowed them. Most of these people were wealth from their parents, and they come down here and act like, ooh, I worked this hard. Donald Trump has failed at everything he's done. And instead of using that to his advantage, he turns around and instead of saying, like, I failed at this, because this is what I would do. I would say, I failed at a lot of things, so I know what doesn't work. He doesn't say that. He says, I've never been wrong in my life. He has a hat that says Trump was right about everything. He's a psychopath. I love the troll accounts. Well, Trump called you dumb. You say Trump is awesome, but he said smart people don't like me. So Trump, I'm just glad you're pointing it out that you're dumb. Jacob, I made it all on my own. Growing up, I only had an allowance of 25,000 a month. Um, It's so funny though, and these people are here because, they've been propagandized to just believe that it's somebody else's problem, that it's an individual's problem, you know, that when black people get profiled, it's just they did something wrong. It's just incredible. And you see these people, if you read enough history, you see these people throughout history. They have no creative intelligence. They don't know how to think outside of anything Jesse Waters told them to think. The guy who, by the way, this is so hilarious to me. The Fox News has this fucking person on, and he's pretending to be Antifa, Mexican cartel. He's pretending to be Hamas. He's pretending to be all these things, and Fox News is like feeding it to these boomers, and they're all like, yeah, 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 morons, absolute morons. Or they'll support, a president who says, just trust me, bro. That thing that we droned down was bad news, and these people are like, yeah, yeah. Again, that's why Donald Trump said, smart people don't like me because just trust me, bro, doesn't work on them. And he said, I love the poorly educated. So he said his fan base is not smart people. People that like him are not smart. And he said he loves those poorly educated because he could just say this shit and they'll gobble it up. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Just like, Trump did with Epstein. Gobble, gobble, gobble. I heard, by the way, in the Discord. I haven't shared it here yet because it has not been released. But Michael, I don't know if you've seen what I shared last night. There are rumorings that there is an Epstein something. There's something with Epstein that's going to be dropped, that's going to be leaked, that is going to make Republicans back away from the PDF file in chief, which I cannot wait. And if anybody sees it first, bring it to the Discord because I want to talk about it. The Fox News anchor, salary $270K, but net worth $20 million. How? Well, I know with Tucker Carlson, he was a, he was a something fellow, like not the Manhattan Project. There are these think tanks, these institutes that, put these guys on the board and pay them $1 billion so they propagate the talking points that they want, like the Heritage Foundation. I forget, he's a fellow of some right-wing think tank. Because when the Dutch historian Rutger Bregman went on the show, he was like, oh, you're one of those people. He's like, you're just a millionaire mouthpiece for billionaires. That's all. The Trumpstein files. Thank you, Jamie. Correct. Oh, Jesus, Randy is here. I don't know why he keeps coming back, man. Tucker Carlson's CIA dad? Ooh, I didn't know that. I know his mom left him like $1 and said, like which is just, that's that's tough, But his mom didn't like him, left him like $1 in the will. Oh, Jesus is here. The real question is, what are the Democrats going to do to push and help the working class? They have no economic agenda. I agree with you, Jesus. Well, outside of like Graham Plattner, Bernie Sanders, I think AOC had something to do with that Green New Deal. I agree with you. The majority of them are just rubbish. There's a few stepping up right now, but that's why I call them diet Republicans, Republican light, because, you know, like I would rather have an all blue government than this fascist red one. Um, because you don't have to worry about what state TV is approved for you. Talk about the real cancel culture. It's the Republicans. Every accusation they make is an admission. So they say, "Oh, it's cancel culture," but they're trying to cancel anyone that disagrees with them. Uh, but you just wish that if you voted for all blue, we'd get universal health care, or we would get a universal basic income, or they would do, something outside of capitalism. Uh, you know, because this capitalism, I'm telling you, man, not only is the job market horrible, but they just want your life, so they can pay you poorly. Like in New Hampshire, man. New Hampshire, the minimum wage is $7.25, what it is federally. And New Hampshire is a beautiful coastal state. You can't afford to live on $7.25, and there are real companies paying that much. All Resonance Kinetics, salutations. Welcome to this auspicious occasion. What did JD say? Why don't you go find a better YouTube channel instead of complaining? You guys are just whiny. JD, down with liberal billionaires. Wait, never realized most billionaires are liberal? Oh yeah. Bezos and Zuckerberg are so liberal. Elon Musk, he's still what, a moderate, right? When he's sig howling. Oh God. These people, just guys, you don't have to be here, really. I know you have nothing to do. I know you have nothing to do, but just get the fuck out of here, I want to talk about creative things. I want to talk about, what we can do. I want to skewer the fascists that are in control. Not hear you guys talk about, how dumb you are. Yeah, there's so many liberal billionaires. They're all fighting for workers' rights and not union busting. Like, these people are such morons. When you think a billionaire is a liberal, just know you might have fallen out of the stupid tree and got hit with every stick on the way down. No billionaire is liberal. They all union bust. And liberal, I don't even think liberals really support unions. Union is a leftist ideology, I think. But I mean, there's no billionaire that's liberal. None of them are paying exorbitant. So there was a guy, right, in Seattle, and he made news when I was on the radio. So this was about 10 years ago, that he owned a small point of transaction fee company or something. He helped, did some with credit cards, and he raised his minimum wage to $70,000 a year. And he made news everywhere, and everybody tried attacking him. And his company is successful. I've applied to it when they had openings. They have almost no turnover. I mean, this dude was, treating people, and he wasn't a billionaire, but billionaires could afford to make the minimum wage $100,000 a year for all of their employees. They could just afford to do that. They have hundreds of billions of dollars. You don't understand how much money that is. And they don't. And they union bust. That's why Jeff Bezos is trying to break up every union. That's why, the Starbucks people are trying to break up every union. And they'll spend more money on union busting than they would just giving their employees what the contract wants. That's why you don't see, even in Hollywood, they have SAG-AFTRA, they have the Writers Guild, WGA, because, again, the corporate owners and bosses and billionaires and millionaires are not liberal. It's just incredible that these are real people. Well, maybe they're not real people, but they are idiots. Donald Trump said, if you love him, you're not a smart person. And those are his words. Again, that's what he said. He said, smart people don't love me. So everybody who loves Donald Trump, just keep in mind that he's saying you're not a smart person. But the fact that people will even think any fucking billionaire is liberal is insane. Because if they were even somewhat democratic, they would totally allow a union. They would negotiate with unions. They would, pay their employees better, not make them poop and pee in bottles. They wouldn't want to have you dedicate your life to that job. This world would be much different if any of these billionaires were compassionate. Oh, dude, 100%. Finally, someone gets it. Well, thank you for getting it too. We need more people. Hit subscribe. We need more people that get it to keep connecting, keep building community. That's what we do, because we outnumber these motherfuckers. Not only the billionaires, but the 17% of Republicans that are considering themselves maggots, MAGATS, that still support in all stupidity, still support this PDF file in chief, the dude who is friends and in the Epstein files, that will not release them. And they are a small, yet loud and very dumb. Again, that's Trump's words. Trump said, smart people don't like me. If I was at my computer, I would play the clip. You can look it up for yourself. So what he's saying is, smart people don't like me. But you morons, you'll probably elect me again. Here, let me put up a thing that kind of broke my heart, but it really resonated with me. This soybean farmer. I get up one morning, I turn on the news, and we gave 20 billion of our money, taxpayer money, to Argentina, my competition. And then the Chinese buy 12 or 14 billion worth of soybeans from the Argentinians. And the thing down here that it says, hold on, I can't see it because it's chat. It says, I genuinely feel so in despair about our country, because I bet this guy would still vote for Trump given the opportunity, and I don't know how to fix that. And that's the truth. That's what I feel. Despair for this small contingent of morons that would still support this dude, even though he put tariffs on China. China said, hey, Argentina, you do the soybeans. We'll buy them from you so we don't have to deal with this asshat in chief. And Argentina said, we're going to be far-right libertarians. Ooh, that failed their economy like it did in all South American countries in the 70s, which you can read about. They said, so we need help. And Donald Trump said, oh, you're fascist like me? I'll send you, not my money, but I'll send you the taxpayer money. And they bailed out Argentina. So Argentina now has a deal with China to screw this guy who keeps voting for Trump. And Trump, instead of bailing him out, keeps sending our money overseas. You understand how that works? And these morons can't even follow what I just fucking said. And that's why Donald Trump, again, said smart people don't like me. Because smart people, this could happen to you once. And you would go, no, never again. Never forget, as we used to say here in America. We'd say, never forget. But these people, knew Donald Trump was a little man whore and a felon. And they were like, let's try that again. Let's try that again. Let's see if it works a second time. Oh. The farmer being interviewed as a Democrat. I didn't watch the interview. Again, I just read this. But take this specific dude out of it. Take the fucking Pepperidge Farm Quaker Oats guy out of it. He does have a pretty sweet fucking stash. Take him out of it. Because what I did play on this live stream, I want to say a month ago, was these Republican farmers. I was calling them Arkansas soy boys because they were from Arkansas. So remove this dude from it. He's just in the meme. What I'm talking about is the situation. Okay? I need you to understand that. I'm not talking about this specific guy. What I'm talking about is the situation here. And I played the audio of these soy boy Arkansas farmers who farm soy, so they're soy boys. And literally one dude was saying, Donald Trump, we love you. You said you loved us. We need to see the fruits of your love. And I thought, this is like the saddest, angeringest thing I've witnessed. Because Donald Trump apparently said he loves them, even though he probably at some point said, I don't even care about you, I just need your vote. But they took that to heart. They were like, oh, this coastal elite from New York City, rich Nepo baby Hollywood Democrat guy said he loves me. Those are all things about Trump. He was a Democrat, Hollywood, coastal elite, Nepo baby, from New York, you know, the people that they fear. Donald Trump obviously went to Arkansas at some point, told those people he loved them, and those people were like, oh, wow, he loves us. Which I'm like, if that's all it needs, I think there's some racism and homophobia, misogyny, and some fear-mongering that goes along with that. Because I don't think if, you know, someone like Bernie Sanders just went down there and said, I love you, they would give him the vote. But you know what I mean? Like, that's why people are like, oh, well, it's clearly like dog whistles, racism. There's so much more to it to unpack. But it was just sad to me that these soy boy farmers just were like, hey, remember you said you loved us? And it's like, oh, bro, how did you fucking make it this far in life, you know? Like, how? I am baffled. You must have stayed in that town your entire life and never encountered anybody who meant ill for you, because Donald Trump doesn't care about nobody or anybody. He doesn't care about anybody except himself. And then he'll occasionally, if, you know, Ghislaine Maxwell is like, I'm going to drop another Epstein file thing, then he all of a sudden wishes her well and cares about her and moves her to another prison. Yeah, well, you don't need to listen to it, man. If you don't like what I'm saying, we're still the land of the free, so get the fuck out of here. I don't know how to break this to you. Like, here's the thing. I've lived in capitalist America my whole life. I know this system is broken. There is no changing me. What radicalized me is hearing stories of mothers fighting with healthcare companies because they were denied a wheelchair for their kid with a disability, man. And they had to go through 2 years of a court system. And by then, they already needed a new kind of wheelchair. And that is just like okay with people, you know? God. For healthcare that we pay into every month, so much money, and then you got to pay on top of that. Like, this system is so broken, you know? The fact that people think like school lunch debt is a normal thing. No kid that should go to school should have any lunch debt. I know you're normalizing them into, you know, accumulating debt at a young age, but fuck that noise, you know? Our position, counterpoint, our position isn't the radical one. It isn't. Thank you, Michael. This is not a radical take, by the way. Just go speak to someone in Sweden, Norway, Canada, Denmark, England. Like, this is not a radical take. The thing is you live in a bubble in America, and you're fed propaganda. Like Joe Rogan, you think, ooh, he's a counterculture guy. He's mainstream media. He is state propaganda. He has CIA guys on, Peter Thiel's friends. He just repeats whatever the Trump administration wants him to. He is the North Korean news lady of America, you know? And he has a bigger following than most of the mainstream medias. He is the mainstream state-run propaganda. And somehow you think you're getting this counterculture perspective, when really it's just like bankers talk and Mark Zuckerberg being like, what's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, bro? I don't know what that is. You like my new haircut? You know, it's so crazy, man. It's so crazy that you're like, yeah, man, that Zuckerberg is a pretty cool dude, you know? We are not the radical ones, but the media here in America that is very capitalist and very run by billionaires wants you to believe that, wants you to keep talking that point. And hopefully you'll never go overseas and you'll never understand that most other countries are just like, yeah, you shouldn't, you know, extort people for their healthcare. Healthcare is a right, you know. There are some countries that even think housing is a right, that even think once you have a kid, you have a right to raise that kid and be paid by the billion-dollar corporation that you work for. Yes, Joe Rogan is. Do you not pay attention, or are you so entrenched in the Joe Rogan sphere that you don't understand? Like, he's having all Peter Thiel's friends on. I can't go into this with you. Like, if you're too dumb to see it, you know, after he had Donald Trump on, it was like, man, you're a funny dude. But don't worry, they're all backing out now. Theo Vaughn and Andrew Schultz are all starting to distance themselves now. Turns out Donald Trump didn't care about them, and they're just going to find out the hard way because, you know, they're idiots. They're idiots. The people are like, don't trust the government, but I totally trust this one. I do not like Theo. No, in fact, go watch Theo Vaughn's interview with J.D. Vance when J.D. Vance lies to his face and says we're trying to stop the biggest tax raise in U.S. history, and Theo's like, oh wow, that sounds good. And it's like, no, that's a lie, Theo. And if you just read a little bit or prepared for this interview, you wouldn't be, grifted on your own show. Donald Trump cut taxes in 2017 and it was expiring. So they just didn't want the taxes for corporations and wealthy people to go back to what it was. But that slick politician got you when he said, we're trying to stop a tax raise. It's like, oh God, Theo, just read a book. You know what? Here's the thing, man. When you have a show and you have a big audience and you make a lot of money, millions of dollars, you have like some kind of responsibility to like just do a little research or don't get into politics. It's just that easy, like do a little bit of research or just don't interview the vice president and turn it into like a good time, feel good propaganda. Don't do that, Yeah, there's not many people that are like still on the Joe bus. And the thing is I do have a clue, you know. I've I've been living in the system for a long time, and it's unfortunate to watch these young men who feel, I don't know what it is, scared or like it makes them an alpha by pretending to be tough when we don't know your situation. I'm very open with mine, but for all we know, you live at your parents' house. And my take on that is you should be grateful. You should be very thankful you have parents that you could do that with. But instead, you think, you can dunk on someone or say, you don't know how it is. And I say, just wait till you turn 27 and you're off your parents' health insurance. And you have to, encounter how the healthcare system actually works. And then you'll think back and go, oh shit, I can't believe I was that much of a dick. Anyone calling himself an alpha isn't. I agree. And it's hilarious that Joe Rogan literally sells alpha pills. I think it's called alpha brain pills. The most generic, let me grift you. And that's like a Joe Rogan supplement. Uh, I'm guessing Detroit Mike's probably like 60 years old. I bought my first dose at 20. It's like, yeah, no shit. Because back then, like I was talking at the beginning of this live stream, when they had shows like Married with Children, where Al Bundy owned his own home and he was a shoe salesman. Yeah, times have changed, and I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly. He's a boomer, and he doesn't understand that, like, the system's fucking rigged, bro. You're lucky for all the unions that were happening when you were growing up. You're lucky that you got to work one job. I know three people that are working three jobs to rent a place, and that's the incredible thing about people like Detroit Mike. Instead of being thankful and counting your blessings that you could do things like that, you turn around and think everybody else has an issue and they're just not as tough as Detroit Mike. Which, by the way, if you bought it in Detroit, okay. But that's really like a remarkable trait a lot of these people that are older have it. They're like, well, when I was growing up, I could just work a job and then I bought a house in school. The state college was free and I don't understand what the problem is. And it's just like, yeah, man, because shit has changed and you're not paying attention and you're falling sucker to these billionaires and these billionaire media companies that are telling you that, yeah, it's just these mustache wax guys that like their hair a different color. And that's really the issue. It couldn't be that now we have billionaires with one guy who has $500 billion. It couldn't be that these people are accumulating wealth that you never saw in your lifetime. That's the truth, man. There were not these absolute disgusting wealth inequalities in your lifetime. There weren't. That's the only thing that's changed, man. These kids are working their ass off. They're working so hard. And for you to just dismiss them because you bought a house at 20 in 1949 or whatever, it's like, give me a break. This is a sign of a weak man to me. And then there's some people that just don't get it, like Ass Ranger. Ass Ranger. They don't understand. Maybe they don't. I never heard of the word exploitation. And they think, oh, Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world, his employees have to pee and poop in bottles because they can't take a break. And they're fighting for a union, and the richest man in the world is fighting against them having a fair contract negotiated. They're just jealous because he's successful. Like, you don't comprehend anything, you know? And I can't help you with comprehension. I could just bring you this stuff. Mark, in the 60s, 70s, the wage gap between the top 1% and the bottom 99 was like 5-1. And now at Starbucks specifically, the wage gap is 6,666 to 1. What the CEO at Starbucks makes in 1 hour, it takes the average employee 3 years to make what he makes in 1 hour. And these people don't understand that. Like, that's what's different about America right now. Not the books. Okay, some of these books have been around for a long time. It's not the books. It's that CEOs used to make 3, 4, 5 times what the median employee makes. Now they make 6,666 times more. It's so crazy that these people will still turn around and shit on, young people trying to work their tail off just to rent. I don't want those kind of subscribers, so get the fuck out of here. Devil number. I know, somebody else said that, ABC. Somebody else said that. The wealthy used to pay more in taxes. Yes, that is true. Back in from the late 40s, no, maybe the 50s till the mid 60s, the top tax bracket was between 78 and 90%. And now Donald Trump has cut it again, so they pay less. I think they pay 17 to 20%, and that's if they pay at all. While nurses are paying 22%. So they have gotten so many tax breaks over the years. These are the differences, folks. This is what's changed in America, okay? Not people don't work as hard. It's that now you have CEOs making 6,000 times what the average employee makes, while they're paying less taxes than that average employee, okay? That's the difference. That's the issue with America. And we fix that, and shit's going to get better. If we can fund our systems, fund our welfare systems, and we can fund healthcare, fund public education, we can fund these things, we'll have a smarter, healthier constituency. And I don't understand these people that want to make America great again, but how? How? I haven't heard any real plans. Remember Donald Trump had concepts of a healthcare plan? Well, it turns out it was to kick all the poorest people off healthcare so tax breaks could happen for billionaires. And it's disgusting because we pay more in America for our healthcare, and our life expectancy is dropping. We're an embarrassment, not just to other nations, but to God. I want to show you a picture. This is my commandment. You love and unselfishly seek the best for one another. So this message isn't for all of you, this one. But if you go to church on Sunday, or if you believe in a higher power, or if you think that, there might be ghosts, whatever it is, you should unselfishly seek the best for one another. Like even Detroit Mike and his poor attitude and not good comprehension on what's happening in the world today, I still don't want him to ever have to lose that house he bought at 20 because he goes into medical debt. God forbid something happens to him. Because as we all age, things happen out of our hands. We should guarantee people have a right because we have the cures. We have the technology, folks. But here in America, if you ain't got the money, you ain't got a chance at it. And I still want, him to be guaranteed that right of healthcare as an American. Jesus was a socialist. Cheese Cannabis, hit subscribe. I like you. He was. He said, take all your stuff, sell it, and give the money to the poor. Jesus was anti-capitalist, anti-border socialist. Socialist Jesus, whoop whoop. Oh, I love this chat. I love you guys. You guys get it. You guys get it. You guys are my people, my people, my people. Appreciate you. All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go look for more jobs, like some of these trolls say. Go get a job. Well, I got one. I'm looking for a second one. I do this. I'm looking for more, guys, but I hate to break it to you. Donald, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, really made the economy suck, even worse than it already did. But, you know, you can't criticize him, so why am I telling you? Crypto market. Oh man, residents, I love you, but you know, I get weary of these crypto market things. But you got that to blame for, you know, the meme coin president. Release the Epstein files, 100%. Look for local blue collar. Finally got my shot with the pool company. We're gonna build with them. Good for you. That's awesome. Good for you. Yo, Jesus also said, give unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and give to God what is his. So that means, Joel Osteen, pay your taxes. That's how you can help your community, you know. All right, guys, much love, much respect. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.